Gentlemen, you are watching the Potsy and Tino show.
It's the Potsy and Tino show. Talk the facts and let opinions blow. Laughs, hot takes, and maybe a rant. Two best buds with a mic and a plan.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Potsy Fans Network brings you its tag team champions of the world. He's Tino Gray. I am Rob Potsy Pochak. That's right. We are the Potsy and Tino show. Here for episode 400 and I believe 57.
Damn.
457. Yeah. So Tino, we always start the show with what's up with you. And we got a little disgusting last week. So I'm going to let you go over what's going on with you, and then I'm going to get a little disgusting here in a second.
We got disgusting because it was still talking about you. So now it's even more with your disgusting shit. But anyway,
was it about me last week?
Yeah, remember I walked in your house.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
But and I told you need to sue whoever sold you that shit, and you probably need to sue whoever, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But I had a good weekend. Went to Hickory, had a good show Friday and Saturday night. Just it was good. Got down there, got to see some people I hadn't seen in a long time. They came out to this show, surprised me. So that was cool. We got to drink with them again. I hadn't seen them in like 10, 15 years. So they saw that I was out there, heard I was out there. So I used to go there with Overstreet secondhand. And then when Overstreet and I stopped playing, I started playing with this new kid called Chris Day. Now, Chris Day and his crew used to come out. And Overstreet and I've been playing in Hickory. We figured it out since 2000. So like 26 years, right? It's weird. So Chris Day and his crew used to come out and see Overstreet and I. And Day and his friends were like they were like 20. So they could come to different places that weren't bars to see us. And then when Overstreet and I stopped playing, Chris Day started playing with me. And now that's who I play with for the past 15, it's been about a good 10 years or so, 10, 12 years. And so his old crew, some of his old guys who they're like older, married kids now. Day's like, hey, look, we're playing this Saturday. And they're like, psh. So it's like a fucking reunion. And it was just, it came up to surprise me. He knew they were coming, I didn't. So it was a surprise. And we just got to catch up with them, and I got to meet, some of their, their wives were there, and we were just telling stories, and we were playing all the old songs, and they were singing along and drinking, and everybody had a good time, and it was good. I felt it Sunday morning, but it was good. I had to. It was funny. I had to pull a U. I Ubered back to the hotel, then had to Uber back to get my truck and get my equipment.
You got to be smart about it, man.
Yeah.
Like we don't all learn the first time that we make a mistake. So I'm glad that I've taken on that approach of, if I'm going to go out and be a little bit crazy, I'm not driving. So it sounds like you had a good time.
I had a blast, dude. And then I told them next time they see me, I'll be another year older, because my birthday's on the 15th, which is a Wednesday, and then that weekend I'll be back. So they're like, we might come back again. I'm like, oh God.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, as you know, I've got Heroes Con this weekend. I'm supposed to leave Thursday for that, butt ass early in the morning, and I'll be there through Sunday. I was going to actually ask if you and Matthew wanted to come down for a day and actually go to the comic convention.
Where is it?
It's in Charlotte. It's at the Charlotte Convention Center. It's about 2.5 hours from me. It's probably, I don't know.
It's probably about closer to 3, because it's 30 minutes from Hickory. So it'll probably be the same drive. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see what he wants.
Figured that might be something that you guys might want to do, and I could probably even figure out a way to get you arm badges for it. I want to start today's episode by talking about our friend of show, Danhausen, because I don't know if you'd heard, but a couple weeks ago he uncursed the New York Knicks, and since then has been cursing every team that the New York Knicks have been playing in the playoffs, and they have now gone on like this historical run of like 12 wins in a row. So you
That's
heard
funny.
that, right?
Yeah.
Well, on Saturday night's hockey game, which was Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals, which I want to start out by saying, if people weren't watching the Stanley Cup Finals Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, you guys are missing the best hockey in terms of the craziness that I've ever seen. And,
Really?
and Tino, you obviously talked to Bar and me texting on Saturday night about how crazy it was. But I want to start by saying that this is how this happened. Okay, so
Okay.
game 1, the Carolina Hurricanes go up 2-0. Okay,
Right.
they then give up 2 goals. They then give up a third goal, and the Canes end up tying the game, and then Vegas ends up taking the lead again. This is all in Raleigh for game 1. They take the lead again, 4-3. The Canes tie it at 4, and then Vegas wins it with like almost no time to go, 5-4 at the end of the game.
I remember at one point you guys said something about overtime. I was like looking down at because every time you guys would text, like my watch would beat or vibrate, and I'm like, what the fuck now? And I'm like, damn, is it Nicole? Is it something wrong with the kids? And then no, it's you and damn Shavar talking about the damn hockey game.
Well, that's game 3 again. So I just talked about game 1, and the Canes end up losing 5-4. And you know, I was doing trivia at the beginning of the night, and apparently I got told they don't want me doing trivia during the hockey games until the end of the season now.
That was Saturday you were texting, so I thought you're talking about game 1. Okay, I'm sorry.
Right. So then game 2 happened, and the Carolina Hurricanes were down 2-0. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And with less than 10 minutes to go in the game, the Carolina Hurricanes tie the game up 2-2.
Okay.
Then both teams score one more goal again, making it 3-3. And game 2 goes to overtime, where the Carolina Hurricanes win 4-3 in overtime.
Was that Saturday?
That was Thursday.
God, okay.
So just to point this out, in game 1, I think they said that Vegas became the first team ever to come back from 2 goals down to take the lead and win the game in Stanley Cup Finals history. That was game 1.
Okay.
Game 2, the Carolina Hurricanes became the second team to do that, but they became the first team to come back from 2 goals down with less than 10 minutes to go in the game to win the game.
Okay.
So 50-something minutes went by before they scored the 2 goals to tie the game up. Then we get to game 3.
Is that Saturday?
This is Saturday.
Okay.
First period goes by, and it's just fast-paced action, and no goals get scored. And it's like, holy shit, we're finally going to get the low-scoring game that everybody's been expecting.
Nope.
Second period starts, and about 4 minutes into the second period, Vegas scores a goal. But then the coach of the Hurricanes challenges the goal because of offsides. So the player had actually passed the line before he touched the puck.
Right.
Which is illegal. You're not allowed to do that. So they call the goal back. So it's still 0-0. Okay. Another minute goes by and Vegas scores another goal. And the referees get another challenge from the Carolina bench because the goalie, his head got hit, which meant that he couldn't actually make a play on the puck. So it's called goalie interference. Well, that also got taken off the board. So it's now 0-0 again.
Holy shit.
Then Vegas scores a goal and they're up 1-0. And then over the course of the next...
technically Vegas has scored 3 times.
Well, hold on. I'm not done.
Okay.
So then Vegas, over the next course of 6 minutes, a guy by the name of Mitch Marner scores a hat trick. So they're now up 4-0.
God.
And I go, all right, I'm putting away the microphone. I'm going home, right? Where I was. And on, like, as I got in the Uber to go home, as we're pulling out of the parking lot, Carolina scores a goal. So it's 4-1.
So you still watching it on your phone?
I'm watching it on my phone.
Okay.
I sit there and I quickly text two of the people at the bar, oh, here we go, right? Then 12 seconds later, Carolina scores again, making it 4-2.
4-2. Okay.
Then 13 seconds later, Carolina scores again.
4-3.
39 seconds, 3 goals. The fastest 3 goals by one team in the playoffs, in the Stanley Cup Finals ever. But now suddenly, and by the way, it's all the third period that Carolina scores these goals.
Right.
So they're now down 4-3. And by the way, they also changed their goalie out after he gave up technically 6 goals, right? So they've got a guy who hasn't played since March. Actually, I think they said April 14th. So almost 2 full months since the last time this guy played a hockey game.
The fuck are they doing?
And he has to go against a penalty shot, which is because our guy tripped their guy who was making a breakaway. So he gets a free shot on goal, right?
Right.
Guy stops 17 shots over the course of this. Carolina's down 4-3, and with like 3 minutes to go, scores again to make it 4-4.
Okay.
It goes to overtime.
That's when I got that or you guys were texting overtime.
First overtime goes by. They all get to go back to the back again, and they come out for a second overtime. And remember, Danhausen, I talked about Danhausen at the beginning of this. Danhausen had cursed the Carolina Hurricanes.
When and why?
Someone paid for a cameo, and the Vegas Golden Knights showed it at the arena.
Oh, God.
So then, in the second overtime, one of the ugliest, stupidest goals that I've ever seen happens against Carolina, and they lose 5-4. And the way this goal happened was the guy shot the puck. It went off the backboard behind the goal. It started to come out, and the player that was meant to like try to scoop the puck away tapped it, and it went off the back of the goalie and into the goal. And the Canes lose 5-4. So I go on Twitter after the game, and by the way, something else is happening, and I'm getting ready to talk about this in just a second.
So, but they're not out though. They still have a chance to come back, or are they out?
No. In overtime, it's sudden death. So,
yeah.
There's still more games. They're down 2-1 in the series right now. They play in Vegas tomorrow night, and then they play in Carolina on Thursday night.
Got it.
Anyways, so all this stuff online about Danhausen cursing the Carolina Hurricanes, and he called them the Carolina Hurricanes or something like that. I don't even know what he called it.
That's gold. That sounds like him.
So someone else posts, "Hey, how do we get the curse unlifted?" And he puts up his cameo and says, "You have to pay human monies."
Human monies.
So today, someone from either the organization or one of the fans paid for a cameo to get him to curse the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, I listened to this cameo, and he never uncurses the Carolina Hurricanes. He just cursed the Golden Knights too. So now both teams, I think, are cursed.
Oh, God.
So we're about to have the longest game in playoff history. But anyway,
that is amazing. That is amazing.
So the other reason why I left the show or left the game early from Ruckus where I was because Saturday morning I ate something and it just didn't sit right with me as soon as I ate it. I was eating bacon and eggs, and when I ate the bacon, it tasted a little bit off. Did
you look at the sell by expiration date? Did you ever go back and look?
No, but it tasted funny, so I stopped eating it almost immediately, threw out the rest of the bacon, but then I ate the eggs, and the eggs seemed to be fine. Well, then I knew something was off because, like, as the day was progressing, I kept having these weird belches, and I don't normally just burp out of nowhere, right? Like I have to be drinking soda or something, and then I burp. Well, I'm sitting there and I'm like, burp, and I'm like, and they they taste absolutely rancid.
Sulfur burps.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, something's definitely wrong.
They taste rancid and they smell rancid too, because Nicole gets and I get those things are right. And then when it comes out the other end, it smells rancid too. But
So I'm like, okay, well, I normally have a rock solid stomach. Whatever it is, my stomach will handle it. I'll be fine. I go to Ruckus. I'm sitting there watching the game, calling the action, calling the 4 goals that went against, calling the 2 goals that went against that got called off the board. But like I said, after they were down 4-0, like the entire place cleared out, and I'm going home. And Tino, it took me, like, I walked in the door at my house. Okay, it takes like 25 minutes to get from Ruckus to my house. So I walk in the door and I go, something really doesn't feel right now. I know I'm going to run to the bathroom to sit down, but I'm like, just to be safe, I'm going to grab a garbage bag too, and I didn't even make it upstairs. So I had to, so I was in the downstairs one again.
Yeah, bath. Glad I didn't come over then.
and like, it just felt like someone turned like a faucet on high, and it was going out of the back end.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm still like, I think I'm going to throw up. Like, yeah. I don't throw up normally, So I'm like, okay. I brought the bag in here for this reason. So I opened the bag up, and it, like, as soon as the bag gets opened, it starts.
Yep.
And then I get done with the bag, and it's a garbage bag, so I'm figuring it's sealed. And I'm like, okay, well, I got to run this outside because I'm not leaving this in the house in the garbage can, and I'm not keeping all them germs in here.
No.
So I run it outside, and I notice I made a little bit of a mess, so I had to break out the mop and actually, like, clean up the floor on the way out the door and whatever. And came back, and I was like, God, that was terrible. And I'm sitting there trying to watch the hockey game still because I got home basically at the end of the second period, so like, or basically at the end of the third period, going into overtime. And I'm like, God, like, what is going on here? And I figured it was food poisoning or something, and it still very well could be because I'm, everything that I read said food poisoning, stomach flu, and norovirus are all basically have like the same things, and then there's nothing that a doctor can do to try to get rid of it for you.
I bet you probably more than likely that sounds like because when Nicole had that stomach flu, the norovirus, and when I got it, it was the sulfur burst. So I think you go out to those bars. I mean, you can pick it up anywhere. So I think you probably have the norovirus and food poisoning. Like if it started, you said it started Friday night.
It should be gone by now.
Yeah, so you probably got that norovirus.
So yesterday, basically same thing. I'm sitting there, but every time I try to drink water, I can't keep it down. And then all of a sudden it stops, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm finally getting over it. But I still had those sulfur burps. But I was like, I need to eat something. So I went out and I got a sandwich, and like it was about as plain as you can get it. So I
used to get like chicken noodle soup or something from like Chick-fil-A. I try to get.
Well, yeah. At this point, like my family's going, you need to go to Food Lion and get you some Pedialyte, which I got right here.
Yeah.
You need to get Pedialyte. You need to
Gatorade or something.
You need to get that. You need to get rice. You need to just make plain toast with nothing on it. And I'm like, well, I'm not hungry, so I'm not eating until I feel hungry, right? But I still got the problem shooting out the bottom. And I'm like, so every time I drink water, it's like 10 minutes, and I'm running back into the bathroom. I do that, and I do that, and I do that. And then finally, like last night again, at 11:15 at night, so right around the same time that it happened on Saturday, I had to run into the bathroom and vomit again. Now today, I had the burps when I first woke up, but then I went to Food Lion, bought the Pedialyte, did all that stuff, and I was like, okay, I broke into a massive sweat. And I was like, normally when your body breaks into that massive sweat, that's when you're finally on the mend. So that's what I'm hoping. And then randomly, instead of having the belches anymore, which I've now taken Pepto-Bismol chewables, so my stomach's been a lot more okay. Well, like it's still running out the back, but I wonder if I've got another night of where, like, at 11 o'clock tonight, I go, oh, gotta go throw up again, because I don't think so. I think I'm past it. So I'm hoping by tomorrow I'm good to go. But, you know, as someone who's been trying to lose weight,
oh, that'll do it.
I currently,
As soon as you eat again, it comes back. But how much have you lost?
So as of this morning, I went from 239.8 to 234.0. So 5.8 pounds. Well, almost 6 and in 2 days. And that's just wild.
Do you see what Barrett said?
No.
Like, damn, I never heard of that.
I bet it's very similar. But I'll tell you, it was the absolute worst. When I got myself up to go to Food Lion, I had no physical energy. Like, when I got out of bed today to get into the bathroom, brush my teeth and do all that, there was no physical energy. It was completely wiped out. And obviously, with me going out of town this weekend, like, I gotta be back up to at least, 75, 80% before I leave on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I joked that my stomach was burning at both ends, like a candle.
Probably was.
Well, here's hoping that it finally has gotten to where we're all right. As you can tell, like, there's only this much left of the first Pedialyte, so I've been drinking it all day. And also my big water. So, I've been back and forth with both of those. And about 20 minutes before we went on the air, I finally ate some brown rice. So hopefully, like that, I joked that I wasn't even gonna, like, cook the rice. I was gonna let it just be like that hard rice, so that way when I'm swallowing it all, it's just absorbing everything in the stomach rather than being cooked and already wet. I didn't do that. I made sure that it was okay.
Hey, Barrett, so I want to know, what do you do for nicotine poison? I'm just curious, Barrett. What you said she saved you a trip to ER. What is there anything you can do for that? Is that kind of medicine or something? I'm wondering. So, but yeah, while he's answering, what else you got?
Yeah, other than that, like I said, got Heroes Con this weekend. I basically, for the past 3 days, I've pretty much been lay on the couch, lay in bed. That's it, or at least since I got back from the hockey game when I was there Saturday, because I felt fine until I finally sat on the toilet.
Yeah, you might want to get like some Lysol too, just spray to make sure all those germs.
Already did that.
Yeah,
and
wipe down handles and stuff like that.
And the plan is to do that again after I finally feel okay. So. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on. Heroes Con this weekend, I'll have Jugular on sale for the first time. I only printed 100 copies of it, so I've been posting in the Facebooks and everything about that. Tomorrow night I'll be at Ruckus, actually emceeing, because they said no trivia tomorrow because they don't want me interrupting the hockey game. But they did say that they want me coming out to MC the event, so I will be out there calling the action. So as goals or penalties get called, I'll be the one that's just like the overhead announcer at the stadium. So I do. I try to make it sound as close to the guy that does it at the Lenovo Center. And it's been a good time. Like, when they're winning and it's going on, it's been a great time. So.
Gotta do the woo.
I have done a couple woos.
That's fun.
I might have to do the "you are cursed," like. So, anyways, one of the funniest parts of being sick like this was I sent my buddy Russ a message, and I told you that we like to send each other voice messages set in different wrestlers' voices, like saying something. So I was like saying something like, well, my tum just isn't feeling very well, so I needed to do it. So he's like, can you do that in Macho Man? And I'm like, well, I'm like, oh yeah, my tum, Mean Gene,
Stupid.
It was pretty funny. Anyways, Tino, what you been watching? I went to go see He-Man this week.
I wanted to go, and Matthew didn't. We were supposed to go when I got back yesterday, and he changed his mind because him and Nicole went and saw Backroom Saturday. I'm like, oh. And so Nicole said it was dumb. Matthew enjoyed it. And I said, well, we can go see Masters University now. I'm like, so I'm going to go check that out. So been watching nothing. We're finishing up. We've been watching NCIS Sydney because we had a bunch of those we had to catch up on. And
you just watch all of them, don't you?
Yeah. And what else? Yeah, we love the NCIS. And still been watching my Modern Family. But what's been keeping me when I haven't been watching too many shows, because I don't know if we can put that on weekly TV show or movie watching. I told you I got the new James Bond game, and I texted him like, I'm done. I thought I was done because I completed one big, like one piece. No, there was more bad guys. I'm like, oh, I'm still playing. I think I'm done, almost done now. That game, oh my God. I highly recommend it, dude. And I'm a Call of Duty shooter game, but this game rocks. It reminds me of, it's got kind of like the play of The Last of Us, mixed with Uncharted. It's fucking awesome. I can't. And Nicole just got Matthew. She came home. She's got him the Batman Lego, so I'm probably not going to see my PS5 for a bit. But
I'll tell you, I've heard really good things about that Lego Batman, but obviously I've heard good things about the James Bond game as well. It's funny because this week I sat down actually Saturday morning, and I was like, I'm going to get that speed run thing done in Resident Evil 9, which means you finish the game in less than 4 hours. And because I finally unlocked unlimited ammo. So now all I have to do is take out the big gun and just shoot everybody with the big gun constantly. And I finished it. I got done in 3 hours and 4 minutes. And I also, so for those that have played Resident Evil games, you have to use like green herbs to sit there and regain your health throughout the game. Well, you get a trophy or an achievement for not using any herbs or medical injectors throughout the entire game. And because I was using the big gun and just killing everybody with like single headshots, I didn't use any of those, so I got the trophy for that. And then there's a thing that the girl uses, which is like a blood injector, which allows her to recraft bullets and everything else. Well, if you have unlimited ammo, you don't need to use that either. So I didn't use that at all. So I got the trophy for that. I now only have 2 trophies left to get in the entire game of Resident Evil 9. And one of them is for finishing the game on insanity difficulty. Well, okay, I need 3. But if I finish on insanity, which is like, I'm never going to finish it on that. So I think I've given up. I call it the old man platinum trophy. But I have to finish it on what they call classic standard mode, which means you have to use like the ink ribbons to actually save the games and whatever. And I don't feel like doing that really. But I might go through and finish on insanity, which would actually unlock both of those.
Right.
But I've got all but those 2, which if you get those 2 trophies unlocks the platinum trophy. So I did that this weekend, as well as what I was watching. I watched the new Jack Ryan movie on Prime. So the one with John Krasinski in it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. The only thing I didn't like about it was like the way it started, I was like, there's no way this is finishing in less than 2 hours. Then I looked at it and it was an hour and 45 minutes. And I'm like, how the fuck are they going to finish this and that? And then they do. And you're like, oh,
Wow.
okay. I did watch Masters of the Universe at the theater. The theater was about half full.
Was it good? Don't tell me. I'm going to see it, so don't ruin it. But is it good? Is it worth it?
I enjoyed it. I thought that for the source material, which if you go back and watch anything old school He-Man, is very, very campy.
Right. I
think that this movie is campy in the right way. But I enjoyed it. So I think I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. But maybe I went in with super low expectations. I don't know. And then, I watched a show on Prime called Citadel, which if you hadn't heard of it, it's got Stanley Tucci in it, and it's got I think Robb Stark from Game of Thrones is one of the main characters, and it's basically about like a government agency that rewrites people's memories so they become agents and stuff. But then there's a bad guy team that has stolen it, and they're taking advantage of stuff now. Pretty wild. I enjoyed that. I just finished that. But this week, Tino, was Summer Games Fest. And what that means is that Sony, Microsoft, and Jeff Keighley all have presentations that they used to do at an event called E3, which I went to a couple times. But this time, they don't have E3 anymore. So now Sony puts together one of their state of plays where you go online and you see all the new games coming out. So they showed off the new Wolverine game. They showed off the new God of War game. And then they showed off a bunch of other things that are coming out from Sony. Well, Microsoft had theirs yesterday at 1:00 in the afternoon. And everybody was wondering because Microsoft just changed its CEO in the Xbox division. So they were wondering whether or not Microsoft was going to fiddle around with the games that they'd already announced for PlayStation 5, or if it was going to be they leave those games alone and then we start seeing other games start showing up only on Xbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they started off with Gears of War. So they show that off, the new one, E-Day, which is a prequel. Actually looks really cool. Then they went right into Halo. So you got to see the new Halo game. Then they went into Fable. So their top 3 games that they make for their franchise, they showed boom, boom, boom to get you all ready for it. And so Halo and Fable, which have previously been announced for PlayStation 5, are still coming out for PlayStation 5, but Gears of War is now an Xbox console exclusive. Hey. So you'll be able to play it on PC and you'll be able to play it on Xbox, but you will not be able to play it on PlayStation.
And why are they doing that?
Because Microsoft wants to actually prove that their games are better and they need people to buy their systems to do it. But like I said, if you have a PC that can play those games, you can still play those games. So, and PlayStation decided they're not moving their games over to PC anymore. So the Xbox players that have PCs are no longer allowed to play PlayStation games unless they go out and buy a PlayStation.
Damn. Okay.
So it's redoing the whole competition thing.
Are they going to come out with a PS6?
So both systems have been talked about, but neither one has been officially announced. Microsoft, because it is their 25th anniversary, did announce a Xbox Series X25, which is a green console that looks like their very first Xbox. Well, it still looks like the current system. It's just in the same translucent green that they made the first one. So that looked pretty cool, but no, they have not announced new systems yet. Microsoft has technically announced theirs. It's called Project Helix right now, which will be Xbox something by the time it comes out, but they haven't put it out just yet.
Okay.
Johnny Storm throwing language out there. What is this?
I don't know.
Anyways, so yeah, that's everything that I was watching this week, Tino. So. You said you did not.
Our shows are out for the summer, so there's not that much to watch.
There's some that are getting ready to launch. like Apple TV is getting ready to drop a bunch of stuff. Because I've been watching Your Friends and Neighbors. I've been watching. Oh, I'm watching one that's got the same girl that played She-Hulk. It's called Your Maximum Pleasure, and it starts out as she was like infatuated with a cam guy, and then the cam guy gets like taken away by like people that broke into his house, and apparently it's like a big scam. But then when she goes to confront the guy, she finds out that like he's actually really dead.
And she turns green.
What's that?
And then she turns green.
No. Anyways, so I've been watching that one. That one's kind of weird. But shows like Ted Lasso come back in August, so I'm excited to start watching that again. Anyways, I know that you didn't get to watch today's Raw, so we can skip that. We'll jump right. We did talk about last week's Raw though, so we'll start right with NXT. And I guess it started with Tony D'Angelo had a statement to make, and he defended his title against Cam Henderson. The show actually starts with Lizzie Rain versus Zarya.
Cam Hendricks.
What about him?
You said Cam Henderson.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Cam Hendricks.
Izzy, Rain, and Zarya. I knew that Izzy wasn't going to. First of all, she's new. Second of all, they're going to push Zarya to the moon. I think Zarya is going to be champion before she gets called up. And if she gets called up, if and when, at some point she's going to cross paths with Rhea. They're both from Australia. They're both powerhouses. I think they're going to, and I want to see that match. But in any case, that's his future. But I knew Izzy wasn't going to win that match. Not yet. She's not ready. She hadn't really established herself there yet. You know what I mean?
Right. You're going up against one of the tops. So unless they're really trying to make a splash with Lizzie Rain right now, I kind of get why they did what they did. The Culling versus OTM. And OTM with the victory.
And it like I figured it would, because it's been looking like they were going to turn on Spears, Izzy, and the other dude. So we'll see.
The sooner Izzy and Nico turn on Spears, the better for the potential of the future of the Culling.
Who said that?
Bleach Report.
Yeah, but what did they do? But then what do we do with Spears, right? So they put Spears with this group give it his group to give him, I don't want to say purpose, right? But because they weren't doing
something to do, yeah.
Yeah. So if they break him up from them, I need for them to have a plan because he's too damn good to just waste. You know what I mean?
He may be on the point where he's now thinking it's time to just be the producer there. Because I do think that he's producing some of the stuff.
Okay.
Let's see. Backstage, Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne talked with Sean Legacy and Dorian Van Dux about whether they should fight again or team up. Culling overheard the situation, and Izzy agreed to put her title dreams on hold for the Culling. Despite rarely wrestling recently, OTM got a good reaction from the NXT crowd. Jackson Drake versus Tate Wilder. I assume Jackson Drake is still your Evolve champion?
No, he lost that. He lost that to another gentleman. Yeah, so Jackson doesn't have it. So the only two people,
the team is
they're the only champions in that group now. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with China 2.0, though. I don't think they need her because they're not really doing anything with her besides being a heater. You know what I'm saying? She's not. It was different when China was doing it because she was also wrestling men and wrestling women. Right now, I don't know if if they're just going to wait on her and let her be a valet for a while and then move her into wrestling full time, because she hadn't wrestled at all.
Right.
So I'm wondering, what do you think?
Well, right now I feel like they just like her look and they want to utilize her, but she's probably not ready to be in the ring with some of these people yet.
No, that's true.
But Drake defeats Wilder by pinfall. We get EK Prosper tried to hype up Wilder before his match, but Cam Hendricks interrupted to mock Wilder. Let's see. Kalani Jordan and Kendall Gray agreed to a number 1 contenders match for next week.
Okay.
Kalani.
Huh. I think they're trying to push Kalani to back up too, but I think, because who did she beat? Kendall Gray?
Well, that's who they're setting up for the
who did she beat this last
match. No, she beat Ren
Sinclair.
Yeah.
I think they're pushing Kalani because they were hot on her and they made her, she was the women's whatever that champion that Tatum has, the North America. She's Women North Americans champion, right? And then she was also the TNA Knockouts champion. Then they kind of cooled off on her, and now they're pushing her back up again. I'm wondering if they're kind of pushing her up to get her ready to go to the main roster.
Maybe
be with, well, not to be with, but we know she's engaged to
Carmelo.
So they like to try to keep them together. So I'm wondering.
I'm not sure. I think that might have been why she suddenly was kind of put in the background, was they might have been thinking that, but now all of a sudden they're going, well, now since she's going to be here for a little while longer, let's go ahead and push her here.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure though.
And they're also trying to push, I think they're trying to push Kendall too. So that's going to be an interesting match tomorrow. I don't know. That's one I don't know how to call it.
Who's that?
Her and Kendall Gray, because they're trying to push Kendall too, because Kendall just came off. She was the Evolved Women's Champion for a while, and
well,
then
you know how these normally go. It ends up being a 3-way dance.
Yeah,
because they don't get a winner, so they put them all in there.
Yeah.
Lexis King versus Romeo Moreno in a speed championship match. Lexis King retains.
Yeah, I figured.
Vic Joseph and Booker T spent most of the match arguing how fast Lexis King actually is. Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights versus Dark States, Osiris Griffin and Dion Lennox. That match ends with Lennox and Griffin beating Bourne and Heights.
Yep. And you had a little help from Sugars came down as well.
Okay.
And did you see it?
No.
Yeah, he came down with a bat. And to try to because they were Dark State was getting ready to cheat. Sugars came down to I don't know, to even or just get his licks back in. He distracted him for a while, but it pissed off Dark State enough to go back and win that match. But I think they're also trying to put a nail in the coffin of the Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne thing too. So I think they're pushing Tavion to go for that North American title too. I'm trying to think. They've got the influx from Evolve. They've got so much talent that they got to start pushing some up. So I think that's might be why they're doing some of these matches. Like I think between Evan Bourne and Tavion, Bourne would probably be the one to go up because he's fucking Randy Orton 2.0. I mean, he's got it all.
Backstage, Natty and Jada Parker had a backstage thing, and Natty called her soft.
I'm appreciating what Natty is doing. Natty's going back now, and just in this part of her at this stage of her career, she's just pushing people, and she sees something in Jada, and I've read that off too. She sees something in Jada, so she's working with Jada to try to push her, and Jada can be ready to go up. See, like I said, there's so many of these talents that are ready to go up. Jada's ready to go up. I think right now, even though what's my girl's name that just got there from Evolve, and she's trying to go after a title too. What is her name?
I don't know. You'll think of it.
Callie Armstrong. She's got it all together. She's ready to go up too already. And so
she is, but she'll definitely get settled in NXT for a while, where, you know, they push her good guy, bad guy, everything, just to see where she lands. Final match of the night, NXT Championship, Tony D'Angelo versus Cam Hendricks. And apparently Naraku gets involved.
What, the devil?
The
devil.
That was Janet. That's what it means. That's what it means.
They didn't really get involved. What happened is Cam was trying to go outside of the ring to get the belt to come back and hit Tony with it. And when he went to go, Naraku was standing by the belt going like this. And it freaked Cam out, and he went back in the ring. And then all of a sudden, Naraku was behind the barrier. Cam gets back in the ring, and they pan the camera back. And all of a sudden, Naraku's like outside of the barrier, standing by the belt just. And then so Tony D beats Cam, and Rocco brings the belt into him. I'm like, oh man. So is this there? And again, like I said, they got so much talent. Is this when Rocco takes his belt and they call Tony D up, or do they back and forth with that belt?
I don't know, man. That's a tough one, because Tony D's been in NXT for what, 5 years, but he's only been in this character version for a short period of time.
I think he was ready to be. They were probably ready to call him up before he got hurt. Remember, he was red hot. I think I like this version of Tony D better, and I think this version of Tony D will work better on the main roster.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that, you know, what ends up happening is if you're just doing the mafia gimmick, you end up getting thrown into like being a joke at some point, you know. So they had to adapt him for what today's WWE looks like, and I think they've done a pretty good job of it. And obviously they've rewarded him with the NXT Championship, basically being the longest tenured guy other than Shawn Spears. And if you ask me, Spears could easily go after that NXT Championship if they wanted him to. It's just I don't think he wants to.
You don't think he wants to?
Nah, he said he doesn't want to go to the main roster. So you know, he's perfectly fine being Shawn Spears training the kids, is what he said.
Well, damn. Okay.
Yeah. So, I do want to talk about something before we go into the other programs real quick. I want to talk about the fact that I believe June 28th, if I've got my dates correct here, I believe June 28th. Yes, it is a Sunday. It's the third Sunday from now. The Great American Bash, TNA and I wrote Salmiversary, so I apologize for that.
Because salmonella poisoning.
Well, that's probably why I did that. Actually, I was probably thinking about that the whole time. But Slammiversary, Forbidden Door, and Great American Bash are all on the same day.
Are you sure? Because you invited me to the last pay-per-view. Like, it's Saturday. I'm like, no, dude, I think it's on Sunday. You're like, oh yeah. So
this one I heard them talking about on Pro Wrestling Nation. So they were basically saying that WWE is now, like, they're still doing the opposing AEW show nights, but now they're also doing it the same night as Slammiversary. So what's this do for the partnership between TNA and WWE?
Well, that Great American Bash is a NXT, so it's not really one of their main rosters.
Yeah, but WWE hasn't put one of their main roster shows up against AEW yet.
Well, we already know that TNA for a while. I mean, NXT was beating AEW. I don't think that I think they're putting their like TNA and NXT are kind of on equal playing
Right, but
field.
putting them both on the same night,
Yeah,
pretty wild, right?
I don't know what they're doing. And two, if WWE does have stock in TNA and is making money off TNA, they're making money. They're making money off of TNA's anniversary. They're making money off the Great American Bash. Maybe it's a cash grab.
Maybe WWE isn't using the partnership right now just because they've got so much talent that they've got to start figuring out what to do with in NXT. So who knows?
I'll be watching the Great American Bash because probably be free on the what's on CW, right?
Yeah. All right. AEW this week. The lineup for the show is MJF versus Roosh, men's Owen Hart, Will Ospreay versus Mark Davis, TNT Championship Speedballs Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, the Owen Hart women's the wild card versus Windsor, and Mark Briscoe versus Leo Rush.
Now this show, except for that fucking
Leo Rush.
That fucking match was fucking insane. There were two crazy motherfuckers. I enjoyed that match, the Briscoe but I was saying this episode of AEW, I'd give it a B. Like I said, I wasn't to the. Now we got. Oh, we'll go through. I don't want to go out of order. So we said the first match, it started off with a banger.
Yeah, started off with MJF versus Roosh.
That match was did you see that match? Did you watch this? That match, I always knew that MJF had it, right? And I don't know if Roosh called that match or carried that match, or if MJA carried it. But they both, that chemistry was there, and I don't think one carried the other. You know what I'm saying? It was just clicking. That match gets an A+. I thoroughly enjoyed that match.
Between the speed of the match, I would almost say that Roosh probably called most of it. Mm-hmm. But I definitely think that Max probably, when he throw him into a corner, would sit there and say, okay, this is this is what I want to do. It may have been called just between the two of them. Like they both know that, okay, it's about time to switch to good guy, gets some shots in, then bad guy. Although, aren't they both heels?
I think Roosh is a tweener. I don't really think he's a face or a heel because he's been pushing for that match against MJF for that belt, and he's been shying away kind of in with Don Callis, but he's not kind of thing. So I think he's like a tweener. He's not really good guy or a bad guy. You know what I mean?
And I liked the Andrade coming up and trying to bolster him a little bit.
Yes, that pep talk was good.
But then to finish with, how you know?
How you know? He said, no, that makes sense because he was talking to MJF. You think you could beat me? You think you're better than me? How you know? It made sense. How you know unless we go? How do you know?
MJF picks up the victory.
Yes.
Via referee stoppage.
Yes.
And the referee tried to...
And I think that's going to come back. Roosh never quit. He flipped him off. He never quit. So I think it's somewhere down the line they're going to run that back.
So Bleacher Report wrote, MJF taunted his challenger appearing in a matador garb to antagonize El Toro Blanco. Somewhere Tito Santana is smiling. I did like the matador gear, and I like that it still had the Burberry on it.
It's the little things like that he does, man. It's just awesome.
Next up was Mark Briscoe versus Leo Rush.
This match. When they were both doing the kung fu, he was like, he's running at him. He's like, what? That was like Leo Rush, that character, dude. The more I watch it, it's growing up, but it is fucking freaking. What is that black shit in his mouth? What is he in his eye? Is those contacts? I'm like,
Probably
I
what's
want
been
to know.
coming out of my stomach the past couple days.
I want to know where he came up with this, because this is fucking gold. He has reinvented himself, and the fans love it. And when he gets down on all fours and runs like that, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
And he's quick when he does that shit.
Yes. Even Mark Briscoe, they're just who can out crazy the other one. That's what had me this whole match. Like, who can out crazy the other?
The only thing I don't like about this is that I don't think Leo Rush has won a match since he went to this gimmick, and they keep putting him on TV because he's fun to watch. But at some point, you got to win a match, right?
Yeah. And they were like, he's still wearing his crew gear. That shit was funny. Now, what I do want to talk about after this match, I have never, and you know, I love the Briscoes. I've loved them since ROH. That promo that he did, that made me feel it. That made me believe. That was you could tell. I want to say some of that was fucking shoot. That came from the heart, especially when he was talking about his brother. I mean, look, I'm getting goosebumps now. That promo, man. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you completely. I felt like the conversation piece there.
But see, he switched it, right? So Briscoe is a comedy. He's a comedy act, but can switch it when he needs to.
I think if they were to turn him heel at some point, he's going to be nasty.
Him and his brother in ROH when they were heels, fucking fucking dastardly. But right now, because he was like, how he and I don't know if you guys didn't see the promo. He was like how he started off talking about his brother died, and he was deep and depressed, and he was just had this anger and being able to come to work and being able to work out and take his anger out on people. And he said he couldn't have friends or anything. He said, then I found some people to conglomerate. And then that I don't want to say the comment, but that came out. He said, then I found my happiness. He said, and then I ran across you, Max, and you could see him, the anger. I mean, the emotions, that the way he weaved in and out of it, that promo was an A+. That is the best Mark Briscoe promo I've seen. And like I said, I've been watching him since ROH, since him and his brother were doing it. He started out when he was a teenager, 18. I've watched him come up, and that is the best promo. And they've done some good ones. They've done some good ones when him and his brother were at the chicken farm and they were doing all those promos. That promo, hands down, was the best promo I've ever, and that's saying a lot, that I've ever, because they do good promos.
I think because he was the younger brother, and yes. I believe he actually started before he turned 18.
Yes,
but they lied about his age.
He was 17.
Yeah, because when they went to Philly and they're like, "How old are you?" and he's like, and his brother goes, "He's 18."
Yep.
Tekla comes out,
and
flanked by her sisters of Sin, cutting a promo. She says that she's going to kill Stardom.
What was the point of climbing the ladder and spitting on the side, but just on the Stardom part of the side, and then flips it off? I'm like, what do you? Okay.
Well, I don't know. It's a partnership with AEW, so who knows? El Idolo in action. This was a squash, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. El Idolo defeated Vandu. They gave it an A. I guess it's because of the challenge laid out after the match, because he called out Max.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's calling out Max.
They keep doing that. Then we get Speedballs, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight comes out, now part of the Don Callis family. And I have to ask you, do you think that the reason why they put him in the Don Callis family
because he's black
what's that?
Because he's black. And I'm not trying to be funny. Don Callis he's just got all this different ethnics and races.
He's got all the diversity.
Yeah. So they had to.
No, that's not what I was thinking. So my question to you is, do you think they put Kevin Knight there because people were still going to cheer Kevin Knight even after what he did to Darby Allin. What I mean there is obviously we knew he was going to have this match against Speedballs, right? Well, with Speedballs, we know he's not going to win the match.
Speedballs.
We know he's not going to win the match. So since the audience knows that he's not going to win the match, are they going to be less inclined to want to boo Kevin Knight when he's doing these cool moves and everything against Speedballs than they would be if he's with Don Callis? Because everybody boos Don Callis.
Or while he doesn't have the mic skill, I think he has the mind. He might be the AEW's version of Paul Heyman, so he might be able to help in some of Jet's weaknesses. You know what I mean? Try to help him.
So you think it's because they needed a mouthpiece for him to make sure he can get over to the level that they want him to?
Mouthpiece, and just he's still, I don't want to say he's green, but he's still, there's certain pieces that he doesn't have yet. And I think Callis can get him there. Like I said, he's there. I think he's their Timo version of a Paul Heyman, but he does have the mind. He knows how to get people. You know what I mean?
Timo version of Paul Heyman. Yeah. It's funny. So this match,
I didn't watch it because I was like, I was not even interested. I knew it was going to happen.
I sent you and Shavar a message about this match, and I said, well, I guess they fully Genetti'd him.
Oh, I thought they were going to jump. I didn't know exactly what you mean. But, yeah, I mean, he just got beat. I mean, when you said Genetti, I'm like, they were going to whip his ass. And
well, didn't they beat his ass afterwards?
No, he won, and they left him laying. I mean, they didn't jump him after.
I thought he beat him down harder than normal. No, I thought he did. I couldn't remember. Let's see. Backstage, the Young Bucks interrupted the Dogs, and everybody voiced their desire for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. But then we got Windsor versus the Wild Card. And who did I say the Wild Card was going to be?
You called it. You said it was probably going to be Mercedes. I was hoping it wasn't because we don't need another Mercedes run.
She didn't even seem like her normal self coming out.
The music was different. She was all in black. Her hair was different. They were saying they said and they said something on commentary more like this is her in the chase again. So there's a more serious kind of, she's on the hunt. So I get that. And that the appearance and the music change, I thought that was a good touch. Do I see
Hart men
to go back on a roll? No, and she walked off with the belt. They're like, well, it's hers anyway, because she's really the defending champion. So, yeah.
Men's Owen Hart semifinal match: Ospreay versus Mark Davis. This was your main event of the night.
Did he cut his hair?
Who?
Ospreay. He just looked different. It was something.
Didn't look blonde anymore.
That might have been it. I was looking like something's different.
But yeah, he probably got it cut.
And it might be that it wasn't blonde. It might have been going to his natural color. I just kept looking like something's different. Something's different.
This was a heck of a match.
Hell yeah, that's just another A+ match. They started and ended with fucking A+ matches. This was a good night for Dynamite.
So this is what Bleacher Report had to say. This felt like an Attitude Era main event, complete with the overarching story and of warring factions influencing the match before. Ospreay picked up the win to send him to the tournament finals. Great action, a consistent in-ring story centered around his attack of Davis's arm, and the satisfying submission win helped make this the best match of the night. And I agree. I thought it was the best match of the night.
When they were backstage, Moxley said, "Hey, you leave the rest of it. You go do what you need to do." He said, "No, handle it right." So we knew when we started seeing the them coming out, and finally Moxley came out and cleared. It was just so. Are the Death Riders face now?
I think so. So if I had to say, I would say that they've somehow turned Moxley face, but we're still gonna boo Daniel and Haircut.
Yeah, but they cheer Claudio. They cheer Claudio. They cheer.
Claudio's hard not to cheer because I mean he is a monster, and he's awesome. You know, he's tough to boo.
So will they boo Pac, Danny, and Wheeler? Is that who? So 2 out of the 5 of them get booed.
Yeah,
I mean cheered.
Yeah,
they cheer Marina.
2 out of 5 get cheered.
They cheer Marina too.
Well, I mean, it's because she's awesome too.
So yeah. So
3 out of the 6. All right, SmackDown. Did you get a chance to watch it?
Yes, you got it up. I'm trying to remember everything that happened. When did Rhea get hurt? I don't remember her getting hurt. Apparently, she's out there in a knee brace.
Well, her and Charlotte are both wearing knee braces.
Yeah, but Rhea couldn't wrestle. She said she's not cleared to wrestle. Charlotte is.
Oh, I think it happened during this. But the show starts out with Gunther wanting justice because his foot was under the ropes at the PLE.
Mm-hmm.
And Rhodes said he was up to give Gunther a match right then and there, but then gets interrupted by Sammy. Now, Sammy had one of the best lines of the night when he sat there and he said, "If there's someone who knows anything about beating you, Gunther, it's me."
Yeah.
And I like that. I like this attitude on Sammy, but I don't really know where we're going with Sammy. Like, obviously we're going the heel route, but because this ends up with a brawl between all 3 of them, and Cody goes to try to help Sammy up, and Sammy's like, "See, I knew you'd show your true colors," and he won't let him help him up.
Because Sammy, from Sammy's point of view, and we always talk about the heels, they believe what they're saying is true. Now, all he saw was Cody came flying through the ropes. Even though Gunther pulled him into it, Cody hit Sammy with it. So that's why Sammy's like, "See, I told you show your true colors." Like, it was a fucking accident, Sammy.
Okay, so you have a Queen of the Ring qualifying match. Rodriguez versus JC Jane versus Kiana James versus Bailey.
Rodriguez won with the Tejana bomb, but I think the story of the night, well, that was one story. The other story was going to be the breakup with Julia and Kiana. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So for folks who didn't see it, Kiana tried to cheat and put her feet on the rope. I think it was Bailey that came to push her feet off. Julia came and pushed Bailey, but when Kiana turned around,
she thought it was
Julia standing there. She thought Julia pushed her feet off the ropes.
And it looks like they're going the route of Kiana James being the heel in this.
Yeah, and it's a good place for them to turn Julia.
In Italy, yeah.
In Italy, yeah. And you know she's going back to the blonde hair, so she's not she didn't have the blue hair anymore. So apparently, when she had the blonde hair before, she was a face over in I think it was Stardom or whatever company she was in.
Danhausen and The Miz have a hilarious segment backstage where The Miz gets electrocuted.
So stupid. I want to know what's under the sheet, and I want to know when we're going to find out. And somebody said it's probably a returning superstar.
Yeah, most likely. Royce Keys versus Tala Tonga. I'm shocked that Tala Tonga gets the win here.
I'm not. I think they're going to keep beating down Keys until he joins. And I think what's going to happen is Truth is finally going to talk him into it. Or I think he talked them into joining forces with him. And
I think Keys is going to beat him down.
Damian, and then he'll turn on him and join the MFTs anyway.
I mean, it's a classic story that they like to say. We get the first signs of Sami Zayn goes to find Nick Aldis and sees a laid down Johnny Gargano and starts talking to him about how they've both been screwed. And Johnny just stays there and doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything. And then finally, like, Nick Aldis shows up. They have a little segment there. But, you know, he basically says, "Sammy, I don't have time for you because I got to make time for this gentleman." They turn, and there's Chad Gable. And this becomes part of the Chad Gable apology tour
Redemption.
where he's now apologizing to all the luchadors. We get another first round women's not Money in the Bank, Queen of the Ring. Charlotte Flair. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is a tag team match. Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton versus Jade and Mishin.
Now this happened because early in the show, Rhea was out, and Charlotte came out and said, I'm still the queen. I'm in this match, and I want that. Then
this match happened immediately after that interaction.
Tiffany came out, and she's like saying hey to everybody. She goes, "Hey, Charlotte," and Charlotte had a good line too. "Are you here to apologize to me?" And so that wasn't happening. And then Jade came out with her crew, and then they made it. Then they said, and Charlotte was like, since Rhea's hurt and my partner's not here, how about me and Tiffany? I know we don't get along, but me and Tiffany against one of you two. So that's what that match got set up.
And Cargill and Meechin win the match.
Yeah.
Carmelo Hayes versus Ricky Saints. I thought it was a banger.
It is, but it's also one of those 50-50, right? So
Carmelo, these two are in I'm surprised they just haven't called it a best of 7 at this point.
Yeah, because Carmelo won one, and then last week I think it was a draw because they both got counted out. This week Saints won, so I don't know if they'd have a rubber band match or what.
Fatal Influence attacks Brie Bella and Paige backstage. Lash Legend versus Chelsea Green. Wasn't it just a couple weeks ago that Chelsea Green had heart surgery?
Yes. And she's already back trying to get into everything.
And they're putting her up against massive heels. Like, Lash Legend is not a small woman. And Chelsea was trying to get Tiffy to be in her corner, and Tiffy was like, I need to go see the trainers, so you're on your own.
So I'm wondering if that's going to end up, Chelsea's going to end up turning heel again and take that title from Tiffy.
I don't know if people are going to boo if Chelsea beats her down. I think it very well could be one of those segments where, like, remember when Becky was supposed to turn heel and she beats down, like, what was it, Charlotte? And the crowd just kept going one more time.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get one of those moments.
Yeah, okay.
Next up was this is your main event, the men's King of the Ring qualifier. Dom versus Damien versus Trick versus Breaker. And this shocked the hell out of me.
I mean, what did I tell you?
Well, I thought you said Trick originally, but you did say that your dark horse was going to be Dominic Mysterio, which, by the way that they're shaping it up after today, and I know you didn't watch it, but the way they're shaping it up after today, I think you're right. I think Dom might go home as the King of the Ring. And I'm not going to tell you who won today, by the way.
Because that's why I said, remember we were talking about earlier, because I think Dom's going to win King of the Ring. He'll probably go on to win the championship because he's going to drop that belt. We talked about it today. He's going to drop that belt to, before it's all said and done, Grande Americano, the Ludwig version, the Ludwig Kaiser version, because he's
the only one there is. He's the only Americano.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, he's white hot, and I think the Taker sees that, and I think he'll.
Yeah, those two have to main event Triple Mania. They have to. This match was a train wreck, but it was a fun train wreck. Like, outside the ring, you think Braun Breaker's gonna spear somebody, but then he gets pushed into the steps. You think Trick is gonna talk about it with his lemon pepper steppers, and they both get taken out of the ring, and it comes down to Damien and Dom. Damien gets balled by Liv Morgan, and Dominic goes up to the top rope, hits the frog splash, and we get a 1, 2, 3. So now, next week on Raw, next week, not even today, next week on Raw,
Don't
Well,
tell
you
me what
already
happened.
that side of the bracket is already set.
Okay.
It's Dominic Mysterio versus Oba Femi.
That's this week, right? Or is that next week?
No, that's next week because it did not happen today.
Okay. All right. Cool. So I'm excited to see it. Shh.
Yeah. You knew who was in that match, so I didn't think that was a spoiler.
I thought that match was today, so no, it's next week. Okay.
Gable was shown apologizing to Ray Phoenix backstage, and like King of the Ring shaping up, Queen of the Ring shaping up. The King of the Ring having Oba Femi and Dominic Mysterio. I mean, you obviously had Braun Breaker and Trick Williams that could have went over here, and maybe they're saving Braun or maybe they're saving any of those guys versus Oba Femi for now. Because I mean, all four of those guys are your future.
Yeah.
So, couple pieces of news. I sent you a TikTok, I believe, either yesterday or the day before about Rebel, the former AEW woman that would hang around Britt Baker, and she's suffering from ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease.
Did not know that.
Yeah, and she's apparently pretty far progressed already because she's got issues with her speech. She obviously can't wrestle anymore. But there's something called I Am LAS, and it's IamLAS.com, which people can sign up and actually donate to it, as well as sign a petition because they're trying to get a law passed that allows funding and more funding to try to find a cure for ALS. So I thought that was pretty important to put up there.
Yes.
And then last thing that I got for this week is I really like where they're going with this Tommaso Ciampa versus Chris Jericho setup.
When he put that bitch in the lion tamer this past weekend, I did see a clip of that. He put his opponent in the lion
I think I sent you the clip, and the clip was
on TV.
Okay, because there was the moment where Tony Schiavone had the microphone and he kept yelling at Tony Schiavone to say that he's better than Chris Jericho. And he was doing it the same way Jericho used to do it back in the day on WCW, where he'd be like, call me the greatest cruiserweight of all time. Call me the greatest. Tell everybody that I'm better than Dean Malenko.
He's like, you know him because you're 100 years old. That shit was so funny.
And then they went back in the ring and he used the move again to finish off. I don't even remember who it was that he was facing. That guy had no chance.
No, it was an indie guy.
But I mean, I don't know who came up with this angle of recreating Jericho's finest moments, but against him. But I love it. Last week we had the 1004.
You wouldn't, and it's I think what makes it even funnier is that it's Ciampa, because you think of him. I wouldn't say it's more serious wrestler. He's not in it, but he's this fucking comedic gold, right? And it's not.
I don't even think it's so. I think that we're laughing at it because we remember the original, the original angle. But when you look at how Ciampa's doing it, it's not comical.
No.
He looks like he has intent to injure when he does this stuff to people.
And you're probably right. To us, that's why it's funny. But yeah,
absolutely, because we're history buffs when it comes to this. Yeah. But his line about Tony Schiavone being like, you know that I'm better than him. You know, and it's because you're 1,000 years old, Tony Schiavone. That's a pretty good Ciampa impression.
Oh God, here we go.
Tino, I told you we were going to be done earlier tonight. Last week, I think we went 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
this week, we're going to get out of here in an hour and a half, mainly because I don't know how long my stomach's going to hold up. Obviously, I also have my voice going out because of dehydration. But, I just want to go ahead and tell everybody once again, we love having you come listen to our show, watch our show every week. If you're going to be at Heroes Con, by all means, swing by. I'm at tables 2183 and 2184. I'll be sitting next to the collective art team from Fayetteville, as well as Eric Klaus. Lots of big names going to be there. Like I said, Tino, you guys should actually try to come out at least a day. It starts Friday if he's out of school. You know, I don't know what time you get off work.
We both got work Saturday, yeah, so probably be Sunday if we did it. I had to wait and I had to see what he wants.
Oh yeah, and if you come out Sunday, then you can help me pack my car back up.
Shut up.
It'd be nice.
What time's it over?
Well, I'll tell you this. I normally start packing up by 4 and I'm out of there by 5.
Okay.
So it starts at 10 and then goes to 4 or 5. But yeah, I know that I think I've requested at least one extra badge already. So anyways, I probably need to get out of here. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody how to get you?
I'm on Blue Sky at Tino G. You can find me on the Insta, SC Tino. I am on the TikTok, Tino R. Gray Music. You can find us on X, we're Potsy and Tino. Facebook, we're the Potsy and Tino Show. We're right here on the Pots and Pans Network on the YouTube each and every Monday at 7. Please like, subscribe, give us thumbs up, buy our shit. Thanks to the Adams House Cats for the wrestling song. You can still find them living at iTunes for 99 cents 99
Jones. And of course, you can follow me on any of my socials at either Rob Potchak, Rob Potsy Potchak, or on X at Potchak. And I believe that is everything, Tino. So we can go ahead and get out of here quick like. Good night, everybody. Thanks so much.
Ready? Motor City Machines and Potsy and Tino.
For the Potsy and Tino Show.
Thanks for watching.
Monday night, it's time to go. Turn on the screen with the good time shows. Wrestling life and who knows what. If it's cool or weird, they're talking it up. It's the Potsy and Tino Show. Drop the facts and let opinions flow. Laughs, hot takes.